in the material world, we create karma. So then we continue to transmigrate from one body to another body to another body. And all the forms of life in this material world are trying to make their life secure. In an insecure and continually changing material environment, struggling for existence. And the Lord, He's engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past activities. Sarvasya jaham hirisanvista mata smatir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So we're the wanderers. We're wandering in, and Krishna is the witness. In the Gita, I think it's in chapter 5, I'm not sure, but Krishna accompanies us in the craziness we're trying to extract and squeeze out some enjoyment in this material environment, to try to find happiness, to try to be the enjoyer, to try to be the controller of material nature. We want to be the controller, we want to be the enjoyer. And essentially, the living entity wanted to be God. That's why we all have this material body. And if we have this material body, it means we're all criminals. We wanted to enjoy. So we have this body. So it is described in the scriptures that both souls in the body, the small individual soul and the super soul, are like two birds sitting in a tree. And one bird is seeking pleasure from the tree, eating different kinds of fruit, while the super soul, Krishna, sits on the same branch, waiting for us to turn our face to him, waiting for us to turn our face to him. So we become really mad after material enjoyment, flying from one tree to another, from one body to another. And Krishna goes with us, witnessing our plight. But Krishna's not going to interfere with our free will, our minute independence. Only Krishna is fully independent. But we have minute independence, which we are misusing. So we are all actually Prakriti, trying to take the role of Purusha and enjoy our senses through this material nature. So the Lord Krishna, he's actually the proprietor of our bodies. He's the owner. It's the example Prabhupada gave. It's like we can rent an apartment, we can rent a flat, but that apartment that we're in doesn't belong to us. There's the landlord, the proprietor of that apartment. He's the one that owns. So it's like that. Krishna is the owner. And we're only using the body. So we're just renting this body for a certain amount of time until it deteriorates. And it will deteriorate. We all know that. As we get older, we can feel it. It's deteriorating. It's like the example of a car. The minute you buy a car, whether it's new or not, the minute you drive it off the lot, it becomes, starts depreciating. And the more you drive it, the more you have to have repairs done. It's like people now are getting like knee, what do they call it? Knee surgery, knee replacements, my brother, he just got a knee replacement. He just got a hip replacement. So because we're in this material nature, our body is going to decline, whether we're healthy now or not, eventually. And even you see a lot of young people also, they have problems with their body. They're sick, or they have cancer, or they have certain diseases. The body is meant to deteriorate. It's not meant to last forever. So it's going to deteriorate. You know, like the car, the engine starts having problems, the transmission starts going, you have to put oil in it, you have to do so many things to keep it going, and it's the same way as we stay longer in the body. And the only real use, good use for this body, the reason we have the human body, it's a rare body, is so that we can serve the Lord, so we can inquire. The body, human body, is to inquire. So in the human body, we have the ability to ask about the purpose of having the body. Why are we? Atato Brahma Jigyasha. Now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. So the human form of life is meant for this purpose. So that's why the Vedanta Sutra very concisely explains the human mission. And the human mission, especially for devotees who have come to this process, the mission is not just to save ourselves, but to try to help everyone. We see how the temple is growing like mad. So much preaching is going on, and people are so happy. The devotees who are here continuously and doing service, sometimes it gets a little bit disturbing that there's so many people coming, but Prabhupada must be very happy that the temple is becoming so crowded, that the temple is doing so much preaching. Look how much, maybe 4 months ago, they were only distributing maybe 9,000 leaf cups of prasadam. Now look how many they're distributing, 25,000. That's a lot. The book distribution is going. So this is the opportunity for the devotees who regularly stay here to try to preach to these souls that Krishna is bringing. You know, he's bringing these people to come to the temple so that we can preach to them. So the preaching is going on nicely, because it used to be that it was just crowded during the weekends, but now it's every day, every evening. So many souls are coming to take shelter, even if they don't know it themselves, you know. They're coming to the temple. So not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of Krishna. So when we inquire about what is the use, why we have this body, what is our duty, you know, that's the beginning of knowledge. So also we all have so many desires, and desires cannot be stopped. We need to purify our desires. Anya bilashita sunyam jnana karma anabitam anukoyeno krishnanam silanam bhaktir uttama. So we need to purify ourselves. This process is for our purification, to purify our hearts. That's why we're chanting. So we can become cleansed of material desires and only desire the pleasure of Krishna. That's why we're chanting. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave us this process, to purify our desires, to bring us back to our original position, You know, to want to serve the Lord again, to be back in his association. He's not asking much from us. He's just asking us, he's Krishna. He's the Supreme Person of Godhead. He doesn't have to ask us for, just bring me a little leaf, bring me a little water, bring me a flower. What does he need with it? He doesn't need anything. But he's asking us. That means we don't have to take much trouble. Of course, if you have a lot of money, you should take a lot of trouble. But anybody can go get a leaf off the tree. Anybody can pick a flower off the tree and offer it to Krishna. He's not asking for much, and he's so kind that he's with us all the time. So we can't hide ourselves. It's said in the introduction to the Gita that Krishna follows the psychic movement of every living entity. He knows what you're thinking. He knows everything. So just be yourself and try to chant nicely, chant inoffensively, and try to purify ourselves in this process that has been so kindly. He's been so kind to give to us so that we can come back home. He wants us to be home more than we want to be. We want to stay in the material world. We're attached to this body. So we are Brahman. But now we're Jiva Bhuta. We're conditioned living entities. So when we have to go beyond identifying with this material body, because we're not the body. And so when we go beyond identifying with the body and engage in Krishna consciousness, we become liberated. And actually, when we actually do devotional service, we are liberated from the material energy. We've come under the shelter of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna said in this verse, he says, Tat Samasa, just hear from me, understand what I'm trying to tell you. He's doing this analytical study so we can thoroughly understand the whole process. But in the end analysis is, what's the end? What's the end analysis? The end is, what's the verse about surrendering to Krishna? He says that at the end of most of the chapters, just become my devotee. Just worship me. Do not fear. Just come to me. No. So we need to receive the knowledge from the Supreme Lord, who existed before the material creation. And there's no more superior knowledge than hearing from Krishna or his bona fide representative, which is the spiritual master. So that's why Srila Prabhupada set up this program. In the morning, we go to Mangal Arati, and we are singing about the spiritual master. We go to Guru Puja, Guru Vandanam. We're singing about the spiritual master. We go to Bhagavatam class. We're hearing Krishna Katha. We come to the Gita class. We're hearing Krishna Katha. So we hear, we chant, we come to the temple, we offer service. This is the purifying process, and we chant. All the 9 processes are there. The most important one is to hear. We have to hear about Krishna all the time. And the classes, the Srimad Bhagavatam classes, are very beautiful. So now we're in this section about Akrura, who went to bring Krishna and Balaram to Kamsa. But he was so excited to go because he was thinking, I get to see Krishna and Balaram, I get their audience. I'm so excited. And Kamsa only offered him a new chariot, but he only offered it because he thought Akrura would be impressed by the chariot, but he wasn't. Akrura was thinking about, it should be a new chariot because I'm going to pick up Krishna Balaram. And so we just finished also the prayers, the vision that Akrura saw, and his prayers, which are so beautiful. So we're not lacking in the process. Everything is in the holy name as well. I've heard it said sometimes that Prabhupada hasn't given us everything, but Prabhupada gave us everything from A to Z about how to go back home, back to Godhead. There's nothing missing. All of Krishna's pastimes, too, are in the holy name. We just have to chant it purely in order to understand that. But since everyone's here hearing, you're all pure devotees. And the ladies are over there doing devotional service. Yes, everyone, because you're hearing. We're in the process. If you're in the shower, what can be the criticism? We're trying, we're all trying. And Krishna, one of the descriptions of Krishna is that he's grateful. Why does Krishna have to be grateful? We're the criminals, but Krishna is grateful. It's so sweet. What kind of a master do we have? So I want to end it here on that note, and if there are any questions, corrections, please let me know. Any additions, any realizations. What time is it? I can't see from here. Huh? I can hear you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji, for your class. I'm just adding this comment on this dogs, and why people are keeping dogs. Prabhupada, I heard from Prabhupada lecture only, because there's a tendency of loving. We want to love somebody and we want in reciprocation of love. When people doesn't know that ultimate love, the object of love is Krishna. Yes. You understand? Or? Yes. Yeah. So that's why they keep dogs, because they don't have people around them. As soon as they advance, or let us say people are getting advanced, there is no family, there are not people living together. So they are living alone, most of the, many people. So that's why they keep want to love somebody. And dogs, like they are very expert in reciprocation of love. So this is what Prabhupada was saying in one lecture. So if they don't have anybody to be loved, so they love dogs.
Yes, they take dogs or cats.
They take dogs.
Or cats.
And dogs are very expert. When you come in home, then they raise and then they jump on you.
Yes, but still, it means that it's misplaced love.
Yeah, this is not properly placed love. Yeah.
So even we need to preach to those people with dogs. I was just reading a book by Guru Das, Yamuna's husband. And when they all came to the movement, even the Mother Mahadevi the other night said she also had a dog. So Guru Das also had a dog. They had dogs. But when they found Srila Prabhupada, when Prabhupada gave them that love they were searching for, and he asked them, not to bring the dog in the house or whatever, but they let the dogs go because they found that love that they were looking for. And it's natural. The human being wants to love. It's a natural. But who to love? Who do we love? Who to love? Even feelings of loneliness or anxiety. we need to connect with the Lord and talk to him like a person, because we've all had instances when Krishna has acted in our life, and that means we've all had instances when Krishna has shown that he's in your life. He, does something that lets you know he's there for me. He's there for me. I see it. He's done so many things, and you're like, that was Krishna. So he's a person, he's there. Thank you so much for your comment. Anyone else? Thank you so much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna.